can fork off. And if you don't know already, I'm Becky, and I help women who are done with the diets, done with the cycles, done with starting again every Monday, and finally sort out their relationship with food and their body for good. And that's not through like another strict plan, or not chasing the numbers, like, or weighing yourself all the time, and not through missing out on actually living your life, because this is about you actually living. So we break down diet culture's hold and get down to the real stuff underneath, the mindset stuff that's actually really driving the changes. And I work with women through my one-to-one Empower coaching and through my Misfit Club, which is my 6-week group program for women who are like done with all the cycles. Basically, it's about breaking those yo-yo cycles, and we're just about to start a new intake for July, and we start on the 6th of July. If you are interested, I'll put the link below in the show notes. But today, I want to talk about something that I've noticed. Like, exactly what to do. Like, what you want to do differently, with your food and with your body. Like, right? Like, deep down, that another diet isn't really the answer. That restricting Monday through to Friday and then binging on the weekend is exhausting. I know, I've been there myself. Like, when you're thinking about food all the time, you're restricting yourself, being good, and then the weekend happens and you're allowing yourself, like, now it's weekends, I'm allowed to have this, so I've had a hard week, so of course I'm allowed to have the food or have the drinks, whatever it may be. And that actually hating yourself into change doesn't work, because you have tried it. I mean, I've tried it, didn't work, I know that. And yet you're not doing anything differently right now. And it's not because you don't have willpower. It's not because you're broken or you're lazy or that you're obsessed with food. It's something way more specific than that. It's the fear of failure. And honestly, the fear is so fucking loud that it keeps you paralyzed. Like, you go into that freeze mode, and it keeps you going back and choosing like the devil, the diets that the things that you've done before, the like restrict binge cycle, the body, like hating your body into change, all of it. Because at least how that story ends. It feels comfortable, it feels familiar, right? Like, that is what keeps you free. Like, I speak to so many women that go like, I know what to do, but I just can't do it. And it's usually because of this fear of failure. So today I want to talk about that fear, where it comes from, why it has such a grip on you, and most importantly, what it's actually costing you. So let me paint a little picture for you. Okay, you're scrolling on social media, doom scrolling late at night or whatever it may be. You see something about like mindful eating or rejecting diet culture, or working with a coach on your relationship with food, and for that like millisecond you think, oh my god, that could be me. And then immediately your brain goes, yeah, but what if it doesn't work? What if I'm just going into a spiral? What if I prove to myself that I'm broken and there's no fixing me, that I'm just like this, there's no point even trying? That voice is so loud, and you end up believing it. So you close the app, you keep doing what you're doing, another week, another month, another year of doing exactly the same cycle. And I want to be really clear on this, because it's not you having a personal failing. It's the conditioning that diet culture has taught us. This is what happens when you've been like submerged in diet culture for years or for decades. Because what diet culture teaches you is failure is catastrophic. Like, one slip, one bad choice, one day where you like don't follow the rules, and boom, you've failed the whole thing, you've ruined it all, you might as well give up. Because that's what it tells you, that failure is just so big and so catastrophic that that's what keeps you in this cycle. So diet culture completely creates this binary, like, you're either perfect or you fucked it. There's no middle ground. There's no that grey area. And I'm always like, you need to live in the grey, because extreme sells. Like when people say, oh, like, you know, all these influencers on Instagram, like the ones that are going in the supermarket, like you can't eat all this food, da, 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 da. Like they're really living in the extreme. Like you have to eat everything clean, or you have to eat everything like this. Like it's not realistic, okay? Like we have busy lives. We need to be able to have convenience at times, and that's fine. So what you need to do is make sure that, like, you're living in the grey. Don't be in the extreme. The grey is where the balance is. So, like, yeah, there's no such thing as I tried something and it didn't work out, now I'll try something else. It's I tried something and I failed, so I'm a failure. That's what happens when you're in that mindset, in that diet culture mindset. And so when you think about trying something different, something that actually requires you to challenge everything that you believed about food and your body, that fear gets really loud. And that's what stops you from trying things. It puts you into that paralyzed freeze mode where you're just like, I can't do it. I need to stay in my comfort zone, because at least I know that zone. It feels familiar. It feels safe. It's keeping you safe. It's like your brain is actually keeping you safe, and through that fear, like when you are trying to push yourself out of your comfort zone, your brain will automatically do these things, tell you these things, because it's trying to keep you safe. But we don't need, we need to push ourselves out of that. So, okay, where does this fear actually come from? Part of it is just being human. Like I just mentioned, our brains are wired to avoid failure, because evolutionary, like speaking, failure meant rejection, and rejection meant death. Literally, like your survival, like brain is just trying to protect you, and that's why I can't speak now. That's why failing can feel terrifying. But there is a bit more to it than that as well. Like if you are a woman, you've been socialized in a very specific way. You've been taught, sometimes explicitly, usually implicitly, that your worth is tied to how you look and how well you perform. Flawless is the goal. Like mess up, fall short, fail, and you're suddenly less than. Like that is exactly like what I talk about all the time. Like we're always trying to hit. This is why so many women have perfectionist mindset. And this comes in, like, again, perfectionist mindset ties into the fear of failure. You have the fear of failure, but that can show up in different ways for different people. So it could be the perfectionist mindset. It could be like the all or nothing. It could be procrastinating, like on anything else but actually doing the thing. It could be like the freeze mode or anything like that I just spoke about. So this fear of failure is that, and it can be self-sabotaging as well. Like I'll fail before anyone else judges me. I think I'm going to talk about that in a minute. I know I've probably jumped ahead from my notes, but that's exactly like how it can show up. So if you add diet culture on top of that, like for most women listening to this, diets have probably been part of your life since you were a kid, right? Maybe your mum was dieting, or your aunt, or your grandmother. Maybe you learned early, like, that your body wasn't quite right. Maybe you got taken to diet clubs at a young age. I know that happens to a lot of the women I speak to. Maybe you've spent the last 10, 20, 30 years in this cycle of restriction and binging and that success and that failure, and it is exhausting every time you go around. Like I say, it breaks you a little bit more, and you start to collect that evidence to get like, oh look, I always fail, because you're keeping yourself in that cycle that supports that evidence, that then that's why your brain always wants to keep you safe and stuck. If that makes sense. Because every time you go around and you fail at a diet or fail at a plan, you start to internalize it as a personal failure. Like, oh, I have no willpower. I have no, like, don't have any discipline. I don't have any motivation. I can't stick to anything. And that's that's not actually, it's not actually you, it's because the approach is all wrong. And we know by the research that like fad diets, quick fixes do not create sustainability, or they do not have sustainable long-term results. That's why I'm always like, let's go slowly and surely. I think I talked about that on the Q&A the other day, where I was talking to a client, answering from a client who was struggling with, like, she's come out of this cycle and we're doing things slowly, and she's struggling with the scales not moving as fast and stuff, and it's a whole thing we have to reframe around it, which we're working through. And that's why my coaching does, like, it's very much anti-diet and how to break free from that. It takes the mindset work of things. Anyway, I'm going off in tangent as usual. So this is, so our brains do try to keep us safe. So where did I get to? Yes, so now when you think about trying something, but I suppose it can seem like radically different, something that goes against everything diet culture has taught you, of course the fear is massive, because you've got years of evidence, that isn't actual evidence, by the way, but it feels like evidence, that you fail at this stuff. And stepping into your growth zone, like stepping out of your comfort zone, is fucking scary. Of course it is. Like, I've done it numerous times throughout my life, and if we didn't do the scary things, we wouldn't grow as a person. So actually this fear of failure is keeping you stuck, and it can keep you stuck for a very long time. Now so I want to tell you how I see this playing out. Sorry, I forgot. It's like, where am I going with this? Let me tell you how I see this playing out with the women I work with. Okay, so this is what happens when before they come to me. So, for example, you won't try like the food freedom aspect, because what if losing control, and like, what if you lose control and then you binge for 3 days straight? Okay, so that's what happens. Like, a lot of people, when I talk about food freedom, they're like, but what if I lose control? What if I go on a binge for 3 days? Like, it might mean that you won't ask for support, because asking for help means admitting you can't do it alone, which means you failed. Okay, so you're not asking for support because that means you failed. You won't eat the thing you actually want, like when you're out for a meal, or like maybe you want the dessert, or like maybe it's, going out, like out with friends or whatever. So you won't eat the thing that you actually want, because one slip, one bad thing, one bad meal, and you've ruined everything. Everything's out the window. Like, it could be that you won't even look at the idea of working with someone on this, because what if you spend the money and it doesn't work? What if you're just fundamentally broken and no amount of coaching is going to fix you? So you stay stuck. Not because you don't want to change, but because the fear of trying and failing feels bigger than the pain of staying the same. And here's the biggest thing on this. That fear is lying to you, because it sounds so fucking convincing when it's telling you those stories. So I want you to just sit with this for a second, because what is the cost of not trying? I'm not talking about money here. I'm talking about the cost on you. Because you're not saving yourself from failing by not trying. You're actually guaranteeing failing. You're staying in the restrict binge cycle. You're continuing to hate your body. You're staying stuck in the belief that you're broken, that you can't change, there's no point, that there's something wrong with you, that you're never going to be able to have a normal relationship with food. That's the failure that you're choosing, and it is a choice. And that can be really, really hard to hear, But you choosing, you not taking action, you not making changes is a choice. And the longer that you stay there, the more evidence you collect. Like, that seems to prove that fear. Okay? Like, see, I know you couldn't do this. I know there was something wrong with me. Like, but it's not true. You're just collecting evidence of the fear and letting it run your life. Meanwhile, the version of you that tried something different, the version of you that was brave enough to challenge the diet culture bullshit and actually explore what a different relationship with food in your body could actually look like, you'll never meet her because you were too scared. And I'm not saying shame on you, because I've absolutely been you. I've spent years like paralysed by this fear, and I know what it feels like, and I know it's fucking scary. Like, I know that stepping out of your comfort zone, that familiar zone, and to try something new and putting yourself out there when you're scared that you might fail is terrifying. One thing that always helped me is like, what am I more scared of? Staying stuck where I am now and doing this, feeling this way and being this way for the rest of my life, or taking the chance and doing something different? Because the other side, I tell you now, the other side is so much better. But you don't know until you take a chance and back yourself. You know you can do it with the right support, with the right steps. But you just need to back yourself. So here's what I want you to consider, okay? The fear of failure isn't actually the problem. The fear is a signal. Like, it's your brain trying to protect yourself, like based on old evidence. So the problem, like, it becomes a problem when you let that fear make decisions for you. Like, what if failure wasn't catastrophic? What if it was just information? What if trying something and it not working the way that you expected just meant you learned something about yourself, that you're not broken? Like, that's what I'm not saying it's as easy at all, like, and I'm not saying it's easy to believe. I'm saying that there's a shift that has happened, this shift that has to happen for anything to change. And failure is a normal part of human life, but it's how you view it. Like, I have failed many times in my life, but instead of going, oh, I fail, I can't do it, it's like, no, okay, what can I learn from this? What can I do differently next time? What, like, not like just in my health and fitness, I've done like within business, like I've had times where I've like organised like free webinars for people. No one's registered, no one showed up, and that is it's a failure, right? But does it stop me? No. Am I going to just give up and give in my business just because one thing didn't work? No. I have to review, okay, what can I do better next time? Maybe I didn't market it in the wrong way. Maybe I marketed it in the wrong places. Maybe I didn't reach out to the people that would actually benefit from that. Like, it's all a learning curve, and it comes to the same with your health and fitness. Like, and it's what I work with my clients. Like, and I always say to them, this is why I've got so many tools, because not one tool is going to work for everyone, and we need to find what works for you, your brain, your lifestyle, and the environment that you're in, and that's okay. So give this a go. And I always like to use the term, let's explore this, rather than try, because I think try sets you up for, oh, it might fail. Whereas if you're like, let's explore this together. Like, let's see if this works. And if it doesn't, we'll try something else. Because this gives you data. It gives you an understanding of, okay, if this doesn't work, that's fine. We know that way doesn't work. It gets us one step closer to knowing what does work. Okay? And that's the biggest difference. And that's why I love, like, you know, I always say, like, I want to help women. Like, I'm obsessed with helping women break free from diet culture, and that's why I've got so many different ways doing it. And I will, like, with my one-to-one clients especially, I don't work one way with any of them. Like, there's similarities and there's similar things, but they're very like, let's try this tool, or let's try that tool, or let's adjust like the journaling questions to suit you on what works with you in your brain. try this way of doing things. Like, I've got so many ways that, you know, my biggest thing is finding the way that works for you. But same with my, like, well, with the group coaching as well. Like, I've built it out because, like, the aim is to break yo-yo cycles. So the things in the course are very much like what comes up. Fear of failure being one of them, and you know, the emotional eating, because they're the things actually keeping you in the cycle. So it's all there. Anyway, I've gone off track again, and so this is the thing I was going to talk about. You can't, right, what was I going to say? I've lost myself now. So I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying it's easy to believe. I'm saying that's the shift that has to happen for you to make the change. And you can't think your way into that belief. You can't just decide, okay, failure is good, and suddenly feel safe, because that doesn't work either. You have to actually experience it. You have to try something. You have to navigate the fear. You have to come out the other side and realize you didn't actually die. Nothing bad actually happened. You didn't actually break into pieces. You just learned something. And that's not something you can do. I can't just do that for you in this podcast episode. But I can help you create that awareness of what's actually going on. But to actually break through this fear, that's something that actually requires support, the actual guidance and the actual coaching. And obviously, that's what I do for you in my coaching. So if the fear of failure is a thing that's actually keeping you stuck, if you know what you like, that you want to change your relationship with food and your body, but you're terrified to actually try, I do have ways that we can work together. Obviously, my one-to-one coaching is where we dive deep into this stuff, into the fear. Like I said, I do have this in my group coaching. We touch on it in the group coaching, but this is where we can dive in a lot deeper. So usually my one-to-one coaching is a 3-month minimum, but I know that can be scary. So at the moment I'm doing an offer that you only have to commit to 30 days, 1 month. Not because we're going to solve everything in those 30 days, we need to be realistic, but I can show you exactly why I'm so good at what I do and what actually happens in the one-to-one coaching. This gives you a chance to dip your toe in and experience what it's actually like to do something different without committing to the long term. So give me 30 days and I will show you exactly how I can break your fear of failure, because I back myself. I know I'm good at it, and I'm confident enough to be able to show you in 30 days how great my coaching is. Obviously, if one-to-one isn't accessible for you, I do have my Misfit group coaching, and the next intake is 6th of July, so the spaces are open right now. Limited early bird ones as well, and that will all be in the link on my website below. So get out of your own way, step out of that comfort zone, and let's break this fear of failure together.